Hey guys, this is going to be part two of two-step equations with rationals. This one is going to go a little faster, I hope. Ms. Sutherland showed up, and I actually really enjoyed doing the video with her because it got to show you, gave a clear understanding, hopefully, of why clearing the decimal actually helps a lot. So I'm kind of okay with doing that one. I'm going to show clearing is just a method of clearing the decimal, but also it's used for clearing the fractions also. I'm going to do clearing actually first this time because for fractions I think it's actually a lot easier than dealing with whole numbers. Or dealing with whole numbers and natural numbers is a lot easier than dealing with the fractions. So I'm going to look at 1/3 m minus 4, third m minus 4 is equal to 1/10. Okay, well, if that's what I'm doing, let me darken this up a little bit. If that's what I'm doing, I'm going to think, well, I want to get 1/3 m minus 4 equals to 1/10, and I want to turn all of those into whole numbers. The trick is, well, 1/3 times 3 would turn 1/3 into a whole number, because 3 divided by 3 is just 1. Same thing with 10. 1/10 times 10 is equal to 1. 3 and 10 don't have any common numbers, so the trick is find a common denominator. The lowest common denominator would be the best, but if you have trouble finding that, you don't have to worry about it. In this case, it is going to work. We can just multiply 3 and 10 together. Let me take that over here. 3 times 10, well, that's 30. So I know 30 is the lowest common denominator, so here we go. Because clearing is just such a great method. I'm going to times everything by 3, so when I rewrite, 1/3 m minus 4 is equal to 1/10. And notice I came up with a game plan before I even started working. I know I'm going to multiply everything by 30 before I start writing. So I'm times this by 30, times this by 30, times this by 30. Okay. And I'm not technically going to multiply times. Here's what I'm going to do. 30 times 3 is, 30 divided by 3 is 10 times whatever's in the numerator and an m minus 4 times 3 is 12, right? Add a 0. 30 divided by 10 is 3, so I'm going to have 3 times numerator, which is 1. Okay? Now I'm going to simplify 10 times 1 is 10, so this is 10m minus 120, which is equal to 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay? I'm going to rewrite because I've done a pretty major step, so I don't want to lose any of my work. 120 equal to 3. Technically, it's negative 120, and the opposite of minus, or the opposite of negative 120 is just 120 positive. So I'm going to plus 120 plus 120. Okay? This is 0. 10n. 3 plus 0 is 3. 1, 2, 3. 120. 123. I'm going to divide both sides. Oh, wait, sorry. Before I even divide, got to rewrite again. Okay? Now I'm going to divide both sides by what's in front of n, because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. And if you notice, starting right here, this has just been a two-step equation. This is what we were doing in the first unit. I've got 10 times m minus 120, so I added 120. Now I'm dividing. It turned into a two-step equation, which every one of you guys can do now. And that's the whole idea. Turn something you don't know how to do into something you do know how to do. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So n is equal to, and I showed this with Ms. Sutherland, if you divide by 10, you can just move the decimal, right? Decimal is right here if you don't see it. Remember, if there's no decimal, it's always at the end. Move the decimal one time, and it is 12.3. Or you could just leave it as 123 over 10, which is an improper fraction. Or you can take 12 and 3/10 and turn it into a mixed number. So All three of these are the correct answer, actually. It depends on the multiple choice, what they ask for, or what the directions say at the top of the test. Give your answer as a decimal. Done. Give your answer as a mixed number. Done. Give your answer as an improper fraction. Again, it all depends on what they're asking for. Classic. You're good with fractions. You're the best. You're the best around. No problem. Fine. Prove it. I got this, Mr. V. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you. Prove it. Okay. Balance line. I'm going to rewrite. Okay. Opposite of minus 4 is plus 4, so I'm going to add 4. This is equal to 0. 1/3 m. We all know if I have a tenth and a fourth, I just call it 4 and 1/10. Right? This is from fractions back in the day. 1/3 m. 1/3 times m. I know I'm going to multiply or divide. Using a mixed number makes that really hard with fractions. So let's turn the mixed number into a improper fraction. And I'll show that over here. I'll do it over here. I'll do it on top. 4 times 10 is 40, right? And I'm going to take 40 plus 1, and you get 41. So that's going on top of this fraction right here. So this is 41 over 10, right? So technically I'm going to call this, that was my rewrite. I rewrote it to make it look good. You're thinking, as always, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, but it's a fraction. With fractions, you don't, dividing, remember, that takes there's no point in dividing. The best way to go with fractions is to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by reciprocal, and reciprocal means flip. Take top number becomes bottom number becomes top. Both sides. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So really, only thing left over there is m. When you're multiplying and dividing by 1, it doesn't matter. It's just m. Which equals, m, which equals, okay. Bottom's easy. 10 times 1 is 10. 41 times 3, here we go, doing a little scratch work. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 1,223. Which, hey look, that's this answer right here. I'm going to say we're done right there. Okay? Let's do our check. Take a minute, take it all in. Take it all in. Here we go, now we're doing our check. I'm going to say, because we're going to multiply right off, just use the improper fraction. 1/3 times 123 over 10 minus 4 is equal to 1 over 10. Let's check that out. You could multiply straight across, which is fine, or you can divide. I can divide this by 3 and divide this by 3. So this turns into 1. That's definitely 1 right there. 123 divided by 3. Hey, I don't know that off the top of my head. I don't know. I don't know either. 1 ain't going into 3 is not going into 1. 3 goes into 12 though, 4 times. Minus 12, it's 0, bring down to 3. 3 goes into 3, 1 time. Hey look, 41 is on top. So this turned into 41. 1 times 41, no brainer, 41. 1 times 10 is 10. Let's look ahead. Let's look into the future. There's 2 ways of doing this. I can either take and turn that minus 4 into, well, something with a 10 in the denominator, because I need to get a common denominator, or I can just take my time and think, well, I could do that, or I could do this. 41 over 10, let's just turn that into a mixed number. This turns into 4, because 10 goes into 41 4 times. And what's left over is our 1 over 10 minus 4. I'm taking away 4. 4 and 1/10 minus 4. I'm just taking away 4. So all that's left is 1/10. Hey, look. There we are. Check. 1/10 equals 1/10. Long example. 2 different ways of doing it. 2 very different ways of doing it. Both ways, just fine. Classical clearing. I like the clearing. I've always been a fan of it, just because I don't like memorizing the rules. Classic is fine too if you can memorize the rules and find common denominators. Have at it. Do what you feel comfortable with. Next video is actually going to be on something from the next unit. So this is the last video of the unit, and I'll see you next time.